Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Introduction to Business Management. We are in the part first and module 1. There are three parts in this module. You will be learning about the managers, their role, their skills, and their levels. So let's start with the clear objectives. Our objectives are to understand the role of managers for the organization and how we will relate them with it. So let's continue further. Let's try to define some of the basic definition. What is the business? What is business activity? What are the needs and what are the wants? So business, the organization, efforts and activities of individuals to produce and sell goods and services for the profit. For example, we can sell this pen. For example, you can see that the Bank Muscat is offering you the account, the debit card, the credit card. These are their products actually, but in form of services they perform actually. So let's take the business activity. This is the business activity. We are talking about that the business activity is about the process of producing goods and services to satisfy the customer demands. So the goods and services are being produced. For example, before this pen will be produced, there are some plastic materials, some lead pencil and all those combination, and ultimately this process will be completed, and these all activities shall be compiled in a way that the customer should feel that this pen is really good for me. So what are the needs and what are the wants? Let's go further. So needs are a good or a service which is essential to living. For example, now it depends on the lifestyle as well. For example, currently we cannot live without mobile, but if a poor man, you think, then he cannot live without a food or water. So it depends on your lifestyle, which is your need and which is your want. With the time, these needs becomes wants. Like you have seen, initially it was a luxury, the mobile, but nowadays it is a necessity or your want at the same time. So let's go further and let's take some of the daily example over here. If you go these examples and let's take this example. If you see, it's a very simple business, a cleaning business, and the individual is required in this. And for this rent a helicopter, it could be a very expensive business at the same time. Both can be run with a very smart staff, but this is a very low budget business and this is a very high budget business. Similarly, if you can see this other two type of businesses, for a sweets, you may have a very small margin in this regard and you have to sell a lot of sweets, but for a dressmaking you may earn a lot for a one artistic design in this regard. So organization, if you try to define these organizations, a collection of people who work together and coordinate their actions to achieve a wide variety of goals or desired future outcomes. So normally, if you define the desired future outcome, it is normally profit, but with once you will proceed with the course, you will understand what are different other outcomes over here. So let's proceed further regarding this understanding the levels of the management. If you see, there are three levels over here. Three levels means you will see someone is working and the computers and he is a technical staff, then you have a supervisor, then you have a director IT, and this could be the three lines or three levels of the management. If you go and visit your Bank Muscat, there you will see some cashiers are there, then you have a bank manager over there, and these bank managers reports to corporate office in the head office and the Muscat in this regard. So we have a three level of management and the three managers. So we will learn about those more in our lecture. So let's take a little more example over here. Let's say who are the top managers, middle managers and first line managers. And if you see here, top managers guides and control the overall fortunes of the organization, like board of directors you can say, or CEO you can say, or the main person in the Bank Muscat or Bank Sohar. So middle managers implement this strategy. What is their strategy? For example, if a board of director is saying you to we need 1 million profit for this branch this time, for the Sohar branch of the Bank Muscat, then the bank manager Sohar will actually execute that strategy, and he will make a strategy to go for the different campaigns, credit cards and different ways. He will actually implement that strategy. Finally, this first line manager, they coordinate effort of all three level of the manager is required to implement the goal of any company. So this is all about the three level of management. So let's go further in understanding the levels of management, little with examples. If you see, there are directors and there are managers, chief executive officer and the supervisor. In the organization you cannot always find the three levels. Sometime if you are a very small organization, who like your father is running a farm and you are reporting to him and there are some laborers, then you may not properly define this hierarchy. But suddenly if you visit a bank, or suddenly if you visit a Suhar Aluminium, you will find a lot of hierarchies, not just three level, a more detailed hierarchy and more complex hierarchy, and we will study those hierarchy in our organizational design chapter, and we will try to understand those. So let's go further. The responsibilities of the departmental managers, it is another type of example. You can say, for example, the IT department, the manager is responsible to give the IT services to the whole organization. Like a complaint center in the Bank Muscat, they could be actually taking the calls, and the manager will be taking care of all those activities, and the operators will be sitting there 24/7. Their shifts are changing. There could be a board where they can see that how many complaints have been resolved, how many customers are satisfied, how long was the call. Like these things will happen in the customer care or call complaint center in this regard. So let's go further. If you try to define what is the manager and what is the management, very technical bookish definition. Let's go further with this: someone who works with and through other peoples. Like two keywords, if you see, with this and through. So if you work with and through in this regard, so means you through means little people who are talking, collection of people or your subordinates are there, and you, if you are a middle manager, you are taking work and coordination with your subordinates and ultimately reporting to your CEO in this regard. So by coordinating their work activities in order to accomplish organizational goals. Look, for an operational manager, overall firm has a goal of achieving the profit. But what is the role of IT manager? To provide proper services. Indirectly, they are contributing to profit by providing a professional services in this regard. Similarly, a finance manager, he might not be directly reporting and contributing for the profit making like marketing department. But what they are providing the proper services and accounting things, and keeping the finance thing with them, and noting those activities. Similarly, supply chain managers, they are dealing with warehouse and all those things. So these are different small goals which come together to achieve the larger organizational goal in this regard. So this is about manager. Let's talk about what is management. There are two keywords: efficiency and effectiveness. Now let's take the example of your quiz, then we will apply it on the class or in the Bank Muscat. For example, if I am giving you 10-minute quiz and 10 marks, so if one student is actually solving the quiz in 10 minutes but the other is solving it in 5 minutes, who is more efficient? So definitely who is solving it in 5 minutes. But who is effective? Let's say some other students is taking 10 minutes but getting 10 marks, but the student who was solving the quiz in 5 minutes but taking 5 marks, who is efficient but not effective? So at the same time, the other student was not as much effective as the other one, efficient as the previous one, but he was more effective. But in the management, you need to be efficient and effective. For example, if you need to open a bank account in 1 month, 10 accounts you need to open, then that is your target. But the manager or the person is opening 12 accounts, he is more efficient as compared to other. But at the same time, when the audit is checking the documents over there and they say that the rental deed is not added, your bataka is not added, or any document is not attached like phone bill, and they cannot open the account on time in this regard, this means the error is happening. He is not effective. He is trying to be efficient but not effective. So in the organization, you have to be efficient and effective at the same time. So let's take this efficiency and effectiveness to the next level. So in this situation, if you see, the organization performance is a measure of how efficiently and effectively managers use available resources to satisfy the customer. For example, if you have a time in IT department and you are managing it well to deal with 100 of the users daily, this means you are maintaining your efficiency one way or the other. But at the end of the day, if the customer are coming with the same complaint, this means you are not effective. So organization performance cannot be achieved in this way. So if you go ideally effectiveness and if you go efficiency, this graph, it's a low efficiency and high effectiveness, like this column you can this cell you can see. But here ideally what you should have a high efficiency and high effectiveness. Managers chooses the right goals to pursue and make the goal use of resources to achieve those goals. So what will be the result? A product that customers want at a quality and price that can be affordable. But on the other three cells you will find some way or the other some of the deficiency in this regard. So that's all for the this week lecture, and see you in the next week. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.